What if everything you've been told about your limitations was a carefully constructed lie? What if the boundaries you experience are not real, but meticulously designed to keep your true potential hidden? This is not just a theoretical question. It is a doorway to reclaiming your personal sovereignty, to transforming your life from a state of limitation to one of limitless potential. The power to change your reality is not some distant dream, it's your birthright. You possess inherent capabilities, God-given powers, related to your consciousness, your focused intent, and your spiritual awareness, but these have been suppressed or simply lie dormant, obscured by a world that profits from your disempowerment. These are not supernatural tricks, but a deeper understanding of how your mind influences reality. Your thoughts, your beliefs, your emotions are not merely abstract ideas. They are the building blocks of your experience. Think about the placebo effect, how a belief can trigger physical changes in your body. This demonstrates the immense power of your mind, but this is only one small example of your latent capacity. You have been programmed to believe that you are limited, but this is not the truth. This is a societal narrative designed to keep you from recognizing your inner power. This pattern of societal narrative versus inner truth is a core concept you will find in this guide. Look at how the education system often prioritizes rote memorization over critical thinking, how media thrives on fear-based narratives, and how advertising relentlessly encourages consumption rather than creativity. These are not isolated occurrences. They are systemic mechanisms designed to divert your attention from your true abilities toward external validation and material gain, thus maintaining the status quo. These mechanisms work so well because they are not often seen, but once identified, they lose their power to control you. This suppression of your true potential is not just a personal tragedy, it is a global issue. It leads to widespread feelings of disempowerment, anxiety, and a deep sense of disconnection, not only from yourself, but also from the world around you. The current rise in mental health issues is not a random occurrence. It is a symptom of this systematic suppression. To understand this, and then to reclaim your power, is not just about personal gain. It's about shifting the collective human potential, moving beyond the limitation of mere survival, and into the endless possibilities of creation. The systems and mechanisms at play want you to believe that you are a victim of circumstance, that your life is predetermined, and that you are at the mercy of external forces. This is a lie, and it creates a state of learned helplessness, a belief that you have no power to change your own situation. However, what if your reality is not as solid as it appears? What if it is more like a fluid experience shaped by your consciousness? You see, your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions have a direct influence on the world around you. This is a key to understanding how to navigate this experience with more awareness and intention. This is where the power of choice begins to emerge. Our journey together is one of awareness, action, and alignment. These are not merely words, but 3 pillars of a framework designed to help you unlock the capabilities that reside within you. The power to break free of this cycle of disempowerment lies in your willingness to question the accepted reality, to recognize the ways your potential has been suppressed, and then take action to align with your true self. This is the key to reclaiming your sovereignty, your freedom, and your power. If your limits are a lie, what else have they lied to you about? How much of your life is an illusion, a carefully constructed narrative that you didn't choose? What if the truth you are searching for lies within you all along, ready to uncover these truths and take control of your own reality? Let's begin to dismantle the illusion and step into your God-given potential. So let's delve deeper into this idea that your reality is not fixed, but a fluid construct, something that is actively shaped by your beliefs, your thoughts, and your perceptions. Consider the concept of shared reality. It's essentially a collective agreement, a consensus on how the world operates. Think of it like a giant, immersive game that we're all participating in. Now, what if that game has been rigged? What if the rules are designed to keep you playing small, to keep you from recognizing your true power? This is not a far-fetched concept. It's the very essence of the Matrix. They maintain control not by force, but by managing the shared belief structure. Think about it. If everyone believes that there is scarcity, that there is not enough to go around, then that becomes the reality. If people believe that external validation is essential for self-worth, then that becomes the measure. These beliefs, though often completely untrue, shape the very experiences that you have every single day. How is this done? How do they manage your perception? It's done through societal conditioning, a subtle but powerful force that shapes how we perceive the world from the moment we are born. Look at the media, for example. How does it often present the world? Through fear-based narratives and constant cycles of manufactured crises. These are not random occurrences. They are deliberate strategies to keep you in a state of anxiety and dependence. Think about the education system. Instead of encouraging critical thinking, it often prioritizes rote learning and conformity, teaching us to follow the rules instead of questioning them. And then consider the cultural narratives that we absorb from childhood, the ideas of needing to be successful to be worthy, needing to look a certain way to be accepted. These narratives are designed to create a sense of inadequacy, keeping you trapped in a cycle of endless seeking, always looking for something outside of yourself to feel complete. Each one of these subtle mechanisms reinforces the question we began with: what if your limits are a lie? You see, they encourage you to adopt a disempowering view of yourself and the world. This is how the Matrix is maintained, and how your true potential is kept hidden. This is not a conspiracy theory. These are real-world examples of how the Matrix affects each of us every single day. But what if you have the power to rewrite the rules? What if you can take the power back from them? The key lies in understanding the power of belief. Your deeply held beliefs act like filters, shaping your reality and the experiences you have. Consider, once again, the placebo effect. It provides undeniable evidence of the mind's direct influence over the body, the power of a simple belief to trigger very real physical changes. But this is not just a trick. It is a fundamental principle of reality creation. This power is not limited to physical effects. The same principle applies to every aspect of your life. If you believe you are not good enough, you will consistently find evidence to confirm that belief. If you believe you are capable of achieving your goals, you will find ways to make them happen. This principle operates continuously, often unconsciously, and if you are not aware of it, you might be limiting yourself. This shows a direct link between your mind and your lived reality. So if beliefs create reality, what does that mean for you? It means that the illusion of control that they want you to believe is nothing more than a shared agreement. You have been led to believe that they have all the power, but their power is only effective because you participate in this belief structure. You see, you are not a victim, you are an active participant. You have the power to change your beliefs, and therefore, you have the power to rewrite your narrative. Imagine your life is like a movie, and they want you to believe that you are merely a character at the mercy of the plot. But what if you were the watcher, not the character? What if you could step out of the screen and see the story for what it is? That's what this realization is about. It's about recognizing that your life is not a script you must follow, but a story you can write. This is an ongoing process. It's not a one-time event. It is a constant practice of choosing your beliefs and choosing your experience. Are you ready to step out of the screen and start rewriting your story? This brings us to the first key component of our No BS guide, which is awareness. This is the foundational step, the starting point for reclaiming your power and initiating personal change. Think of awareness as a light that illuminates the dark corners of your mind. It's about stepping back and observing your thoughts and emotions without judgment, noticing them as they arise, and seeing them simply as what they are, energies moving through you. This is not about suppressing your emotions or trying to control your thoughts. It's about creating a space, a distance between you, the observer, and the thoughts and emotions that you are observing. This distance is where your power lies. Imagine yourself watching clouds passing by, each one different, each one temporary. This is similar to observing your thoughts and emotions. You are not the cloud, you are the sky, vast and unchanging. This simple act of observation is a powerful method for gaining clarity and creating space for change. So how do we begin to practically implement this? Start by taking a few minutes each day to sit quietly and simply observe your breath. As you breathe in and out, notice what thoughts or emotions arise, and then simply allow them to pass without judgment. You do not need to follow them or analyze them, just notice them, and then gently bring your attention back to your breath. This seemingly simple practice is the first step towards reclaiming control of your inner world. With this new skill of inner observation, you will start to recognize the patterns in your thinking, and this will allow you to begin to identify your negative or limiting thought patterns. These are the mental habits that keep you trapped in a cycle of disempowerment, and they operate like a loop, constantly reinforcing your limitations. Examples of these limiting beliefs are phrases like, "I'm not good enough," "I'm not worthy," "I can't do it," and "I'm not capable." These thoughts might seem like simple passing ideas, but they have a significant impact on your behavior, your emotions, and your overall experience of life. They create a very real barrier to unlocking your true potential. This is not about blaming yourself. It's about taking responsibility and recognizing that you have the power to change them. So how do we do this? Begin by paying attention to your internal dialogue, to the things that you tell yourself about yourself. When you notice a limiting thought, gently question it. Is it really true? Where did it come from? Is this a belief that you truly believe, or is it just a recording that has been playing in the background of your mind? This process of thought management is a key skill for breaking free of societal conditioning and taking back personal control of your narrative. Now that we have begun to look at our thoughts, let us examine our emotions. How often do you find yourself overwhelmed by your emotional reactions? One of the biggest misconceptions about emotions is that we are powerless over them, that we are just at the mercy of our feelings. This is not true. Emotions are simply energies moving through the body, and you have the power to regulate them. One of the most effective tools for emotional regulation is conscious breathing. When you feel overwhelmed, taking a few slow, deep breaths can shift your state and calm your nervous system. It is an immediate and tangible method that is available to you any time you need it. Another useful technique is mindfulness. This means focusing your attention on the present moment, paying attention to your senses without getting caught up in your thoughts. This does not mean to suppress emotions. It means to observe them with a sense of curiosity and letting them pass naturally without letting them dictate your behavior. These are not complex techniques. They are simple, practical methods that you can implement in everyday situations. They can lead you to a state of greater clarity and calmness, empowering you to act with intention rather than simply reacting to your emotions. This also brings us to another powerful tool for self-discovery, which is journaling. This practice is not just about writing in a diary. It is about exploring your inner world, your values, your goals, and your beliefs. So how do we begin? Start by asking yourself some important questions. What truly matters to you? What are your core values? What are your goals, and do they align with who you are? What beliefs do you hold about yourself and the world around you? Are these beliefs empowering or limiting? You do not need to overthink this. Simply allow your intuition to guide you and explore your thoughts, feelings, and emotions in an open and honest way. By understanding and aligning with your authentic nature, you are laying the foundation for unlocking your true potential and moving past the limitations you have previously held as truths. So, are you willing to explore yourself in a deeper way? Are you ready to discover the power that lies within you? This awareness is merely the first step, the foundation upon which the rest of our guide is built. We will now move into the next part of the No BS guide, where we will explore the crucial concept of action. So, let us move now to the next phase of our journey and explore the power of real-world transformation. To truly understand the potency of these principles, let's explore some specific examples of ordinary people, just like you, who have applied the No BS guide to create extraordinary changes in their own lives. These aren't exceptional individuals with unique powers. These are everyday people who chose to take their power back. Their journeys will serve as a powerful demonstration that change is not just possible, it is inevitable once you choose it, and choose it consciously. Each one of these case studies will illuminate the principles of awareness, action, and alignment, showing you how they work in practice and how they can work for you. You might see some aspects of their experience mirrored in your own life. These examples serve to reinforce that the God-given powers that we have been exploring are not just theoretical concepts, but real and practical abilities that are available to everyone. They are, in fact, your birthright. Our first story is about Sarah, a young professional who was plagued by self-doubt. Her days were dominated by negative self-talk, and this constant internal criticism held her back in her career, her relationships, and her entire life. Sarah had an ingrained belief that she was not good enough, that she was not worthy of success, and that she was destined for mediocrity. This limiting belief was deeply rooted, and she was unaware of the impact it was having on her daily life. The first step in her journey involved the awareness component of our guide. She began to keep a journal, writing down her thoughts and feelings, and this allowed her to gain insights into the negative patterns that were running in the background. By observing these thoughts, instead of just reacting to them, she began to see how they controlled her behavior. This realization was a powerful turning point for her, and it was at this point that she began to see them as merely thoughts and not as truths. She was starting to reclaim her personal power through awareness. With this new insight, she then moved into the action phase. Using the techniques that we've previously covered, she began to actively challenge her negative thoughts, replacing them with positive affirmations. Each day she began to consciously reprogram her mind with statements like, "I am capable, I am worthy, I am enough." Initially, this felt very artificial, but over time, these positive affirmations began to rewire her thinking. Finally, as her thought patterns shifted, Sarah was able to embody the alignment principle, acting in accordance with her new beliefs. This did not magically change the world around her, but it changed how she responded to it. She started taking on new challenges, speaking up in meetings, and taking steps to achieve her goals. Sarah's story demonstrates that these so-called God-given powers aren't some mystical gifts. They are the ability to understand and shape your own mind, the ability to choose your beliefs, and align your actions with your values. This journey, from self-doubt to self-empowerment, serves to show the potential that lies within every individual if they simply choose to harness it. Our next story is about Michael, a skilled craftsman who often found himself controlled by his emotions. He would frequently react impulsively, especially when he felt stressed or challenged. Michael's emotional reactions often sabotaged his work and his relationships. His default setting was anger, which was causing a great deal of stress. Through the awareness component of the No BS guide, Michael began to practice mindfulness and conscious breathing exercises. He started to notice the physical sensations that arose when he was becoming agitated, and he began to use his breath as an anchor to calm his nervous system. This practice allowed him to create space between his emotional reactions and his behavior. He discovered that his emotions were not his identity, but merely energy moving through his body, and that he had a choice about how to react to them. Instead of allowing these feelings to dictate his actions, he began to respond with a sense of calm and clarity. This was the start of him moving into the action part of the guide. He actively started to choose how he reacted to his emotions, instead of automatically reacting to them. Using the tools that we've already explored, he began to actively choose a different path. This is not to say that Michael suddenly became emotionless. He just began to control how they expressed themselves. Instead of reacting in anger, he started to respond with patience and understanding. This transformation led Michael to embody the alignment aspect of the guide. His actions, words, and behaviors began to align with his values of peace and kindness, and this impacted all of his interactions and his work. Michael's experience serves to highlight that these God-given powers are not about suppressing emotions, but about regulating them, about making conscious choices on how to express them. He was not only in control of his work, but his entire life, and this is a transformation that is available to all. Finally, our third case study is about Maria, a young entrepreneur who had a burning desire to start her own business, but was held back by her self-doubt. Maria felt like her goal was too big, and this feeling of fear was holding her back from starting. She spent so much time worrying about the what-ifs that she found it hard to move forward. So, using the action principle of our guide, Maria began to use visualization techniques. Every day, she would take time to imagine her business as a success and feel the emotions of that achievement. This practice was not just about daydreaming, it was about creating a clear vision of her goal. As she saw this vision, she began to embody it. This mental rehearsal began to fuel her actions. Through this process, she was able to begin the process of actively manifesting her intention, step by step. This new belief system changed her behavior. Instead of being held back by fear, she became guided by her goals. She also understood that this was not some overnight miracle, but that this was a consistent process of choosing and aligning with her intention. This brings us to the final aspect, the alignment component of our framework. Maria began to act in a way that was aligned with her visualization, trusting her intuition, and taking steps towards her goals with confidence. As she took this aligned action, she began to see the reality of what she wanted to create come into being. This is not to say that she did not face setbacks, she did, but she was able to face them with courage and clarity because her intention was aligned with her actions. This example demonstrates that the God-given power of manifestation, the ability to create the life that you want, is accessible to everyone through the consistent application of awareness, action, and alignment. You might notice a thread weaving through all of these narratives. Each of these individuals faced challenges that may resonate with you, challenges that seemed insurmountable. Yet, they used the core framework of our No BS guide to not just overcome them, but to actively transform their lives. They all started with the crucial first step, awareness, by observing their thought patterns, their emotional reactions, and their current behaviors. They then progressed to the action phase, where they consciously chose new ways of being, implementing practices such as affirmations, conscious breathing, and visualization. And finally, each of them embodied the principle of alignment, acting in accordance with their chosen beliefs and values. What these case studies show is that these are not isolated occurrences. These are not unique individuals. They are ordinary people using ordinary methods and achieving extraordinary results. They are living examples of the power of the mind, of conscious choice, and of taking responsibility for your own life. These stories emphasize that the capabilities are not reserved for a select few, but that they are inherent in every single one of us. It is in this space, where we see this clear pattern, that we begin to understand our true potential. Let's revisit, once again, the idea of the observer effect, but now with a broader understanding. Remember, at the quantum level, the act of observing changes the reality of that which is being observed. The same is true in your everyday life, though often you will not notice it directly. Your attention, your focus, has a very real effect on your experience of life. This is not just an interesting fact, it is a fundamental principle. If you are constantly observing and focusing on your limitations, on your fears, or on your problems, then you will inevitably create a reality that is shaped by these observations. However, if you begin to focus on your potential, on your strengths, and on your goals, you will begin to create a reality that is aligned with these new observations. It is not that your problems will magically disappear, but they will shift and change as you begin to see and interact with them through a new lens. The key takeaway here is that your focus is a powerful tool, and you get to decide what you give your attention to. Consider this. Even in moments of great chaos, it is your perspective and your personal choice of focus that shapes the experience. Are you focusing on the problem, or on the solution. This is the power that each of us holds, the ability to shape reality through the power of conscious choice. What if I told you that this ability, the power of choice, is perhaps the most fundamental, God-given power that you possess? This is not just about making small decisions on a daily basis. This is about consciously choosing your beliefs, your values, your actions, and your life experience. The ability to choose how you respond to life is an incredibly potent skill, one that most people never realize they have. This does not mean that life will always be easy, that you will never face challenges, but it means that you are not a victim, that you are empowered by the way that you respond to any challenge. There is a distinct difference between being affected by what happens to you and being controlled by it. They want you to believe that you are at the mercy of external forces, but the truth is that you always have a choice, the choice on how you perceive and how you react to anything at any moment. So where does your power lie? Your power does not lie in avoiding hardship. It lies in the ability to master it, to learn from it, and to use it to your advantage. This perspective, this choice, is the key to true personal sovereignty and is always available to you. So, are you ready to take the driver's seat in your life? And with that understanding comes a very important point. It's time to start actively questioning the narratives that you have been accepting as normal. You are not a passive observer in a pre-written story. You are a conscious participant, capable of writing your own. They want you to accept the world as it is, but once you start to see the artificial nature of much of what we call normal life, you will begin to understand that you have always had a choice. You are not trapped, you are not powerless, you have simply forgotten that you have the ability to choose differently. Reclaiming your personal power begins with challenging the status quo, asking yourself the hard questions, and stepping outside the parameters of societal control. This is not about fighting the system. This is about recognizing that your internal experience is always yours, and that you have the capability to shift your perspective. You now understand how awareness, action, and alignment work, and you now have the tools to apply them in any situation. This personal power, coupled with your conscious choice of focus, are the keys to unlocking the world of your potential. With this new understanding of your own potential, it is now time to acknowledge the responsibility that comes with it. Reclaiming your true power is not just about personal gain or personal satisfaction. It is also about actively contributing to a more conscious and positive world. What you do matters, not only for your own life, but for the lives of those around you. The concept of collective consciousness is not just a philosophical idea, it is a powerful force. Your thoughts, your actions, and your intentions all contribute to the larger whole. So, while you focus on your own evolution, always consider the impact you are having on the collective. We are all interconnected, and therefore, each individual choice has a ripple effect. So what does this mean in practical terms? It means that your journey is not just a personal one, it is a contribution to the evolution of the consciousness of humanity. This knowledge should empower you to take your personal responsibility seriously. The choice to act consciously is always a choice for positive change, for yourself, and for the world. And so, let us look at how this works in practice. Even the smallest act of consciousness can create a ripple of positive change. Think about your daily interactions, your words, your actions, and your choices. Each one of these has an effect on the people you interact with. For example, if you choose to approach each interaction with kindness, empathy, and understanding, this will create a different impact than approaching with judgment, anger, or resentment. The choices that you make every single day, no matter how small they might seem, contribute to the collective consciousness. They create a positive impact that extends beyond your immediate circle. And in the same way, each time you choose a fear-based response, you are contributing to the collective fear. The key is to be conscious of your choices and to always ask yourself, what effect am I having in this situation? When you begin to see that your individual actions are part of a larger picture, you begin to see the incredible power you hold. This understanding can transform the way that you engage with life, understanding that you are not merely a passenger, but an active creator of your own experience, and that your experience has an effect on those around you. And with that said, it is also vitally important to remember that this is not a destination. It is a process. Your journey of self-discovery, of growth, and of consciously creating your reality is an ongoing exploration. There is no final point that you are trying to reach. Each step along the way is valuable, and each moment is an opportunity for growth and for transformation. Each time that you apply the No BS guide through awareness, action, and alignment, you are reinforcing your capability, you are building new patterns, and you are solidifying your ability to create your life. So, while you might be tempted to focus on the end result, always remember that it is in the doing that the transformation takes place. Enjoy the process, learn from every challenge, and be patient with yourself. Your true potential is not something that you will suddenly achieve one day. It is something that will evolve as you evolve and will become more natural, more intuitive with practice. So, where do you begin right now? Here are some clear and concise actions that you can take today to begin integrating these principles into your daily life. Firstly, set aside some time each day to practice mindfulness and conscious breathing. Even a few minutes of focused attention can make a powerful difference. Secondly, begin to journal your thoughts and your feelings so that you can identify the limiting beliefs that might be holding you back. Thirdly, when you identify those limiting beliefs, actively challenge them and replace them with empowering affirmations. Fourthly, practice visualization. Begin to create the reality that you want to experience. And finally, and most importantly, always, 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 choose conscious action. Act with intention, act with kindness, and act with alignment to your values. These practical steps serve as a constant reminder of your capability. They are anchors of personal power, and they are always available to you. The power to transform your life has always been within you. The only difference now is that you are consciously aware of that fact. Remember, this is your journey. Feel free to explore what works best for you and to tailor these practices to your unique needs. The real journey starts now. Are you ready? So, now you have a clear understanding of your potential and how to use the No BS guide. You're ready to take control of your life, right? Well, not so fast. It's important to understand that as you start implementing these new practices, you're very likely to encounter internal resistance. This isn't a sign that you're failing or that the system is too strong. It's actually a natural part of the process. Think of it like this. Your mind is like a garden, and the old programs are the weeds that have taken root. As you begin to plant new seeds of awareness and change, these weeds are going to resist being uprooted. This resistance can manifest in many ways, perhaps as self-doubt, where you start questioning your abilities and your worth. You might hear that nagging voice in your head telling you that you are not good enough or that you will never change. Maybe you will encounter a fear of change, where you feel comfortable in your old habits, even if they're not serving you, and this makes it difficult to step into the unknown. You might experience a sudden surge of old habits, where you find yourself defaulting to old behaviors, even though you consciously know that you want something different. You might start to feel overwhelmed or discouraged and think that it is easier to give up. Now, if you experience these things, this is not a sign that you are failing. This is actually a very powerful sign that you are starting to create change and that the old programming is being challenged. These are simply indications that the old patterns are being disrupted and that your conscious choices are beginning to have an impact. For example, if you start a new practice of meditation and find yourself feeling restless or bored, this is not a sign that meditation isn't for you. It is simply a sign that your mind is used to constant stimulation and is resisting the shift to calmness. Similarly, if you decide to change your diet and start craving junk food, this is a clear indication that your old habits are fighting back. Recognizing these internal barriers for what they are, not as failures, but as signs of growth, is the first step in overcoming them. So, How do you navigate these internal barriers? By recognizing them for what they are, old programming, not the truth of who you are. They are not facts, they are just beliefs, and you are now capable of choosing new beliefs. But this is not the only type of resistance that you will encounter. Just as you face internal barriers, you will also likely face external pushback as you begin to make changes in your life. People around you might not understand your new perspective, and they might feel threatened by your growth, even if they don't express this consciously. As you begin to break free from the old patterns, you might find that others around you try to keep you in the same patterns. This often comes from their own fear and discomfort with change, and it is not personal. They might try to minimize your efforts, dismiss your new beliefs, or even try to undermine your progress. For example, if you begin to share your excitement about your personal journey with your friends, they might respond with skepticism or criticism. They might try to convince you that it is all just nonsense or that you are wasting your time. Perhaps they might even say, "Who do you think you are, that you are somehow different or better?" This kind of reaction often comes from their own insecurities or from their own fears of being left behind. It's important to understand that this external resistance often comes from a place of ignorance or fear, not from malice, and it's a natural reaction to the unfamiliar, which is why many people fear change. This can manifest in a variety of ways, sometimes as subtle comments, sometimes as direct attacks. Perhaps they will try to bring you down to their level by making you feel small or insignificant. They might attempt to make you doubt your new beliefs and try to convince you that you are wrong. However, if you are prepared for it, you will not be swayed. Consider this. If someone is trying to bring you down, what does this tell you about their state of being? It tells you that they are unhappy, that they are struggling, and that they do not have the power to live life on their own terms. Understanding this can help you not to take their reactions personally. This is not a reflection of you, it is simply a reflection of them. This understanding is the key to maintaining your commitment to personal growth, and this is the understanding that will allow you to navigate this external pushback with confidence and grace, and to stay true to your path without allowing others to derail it. Now, let's explore how they use fear-based narratives to maintain control, and how these narratives are designed to keep you from taking action, from reclaiming your power, and from questioning the status quo. These narratives are carefully constructed to trigger your deepest fears, and to convince you that you are powerless, and that they are in control. They are often repeated again and again to become accepted as the truth, and these are woven into the very fabric of our society, from the media to the education system, and to the very stories that we tell ourselves. For example, consider the constant bombardment of fear-based news, highlighting all of the chaos and negativity in the world. These narratives emphasize the powerlessness of the individual and present a world where change seems impossible, and where only they can protect us from the endless list of threats. This creates a state of constant anxiety, which makes it far easier to manipulate public perception and control behavior. Then there are political narratives that try to create division by pitting people against each other through the use of labels and ideologies. This approach distracts from the real issues and creates a sense of us versus them. This divides the masses and keeps them from working together, whilst keeping them focused on external conflicts rather than on internal growth. Consider also the economic narratives that encourage consumerism, convincing you that your worth is based on what you own, not who you are. These narratives keep you trapped in a never-ending cycle of consumption, keeping you distracted and focused on external validation instead of on your own internal power. It's a very carefully constructed machine, and they don't want you to see how it works. The truth is, these narratives are all designed to disempower you, and they are all based on lies and manipulation. By understanding their purpose, you can begin to diffuse their power. When you become aware of how these mechanisms operate, you will no longer be vulnerable to their influence. When you see that all of the information that you consume has a specific agenda, You will no longer give your power away so easily. So, how do we navigate this matrix of control? Well, it's not about fighting against it or trying to change the entire system single-handedly. Instead, it's about consciously choosing your own reality and about taking control of your own thoughts, feelings, and actions using the No BS guide. It is about recognizing that you always have a choice, even when you are surrounded by external pressure. This is not about isolating yourself from society. It's about creating a sense of internal sovereignty, where you are the ruler of your own internal world, regardless of external circumstances. For example, when you are confronted with a fear-based narrative, you can consciously choose not to participate in the fear by simply not engaging with it. Instead of reacting with anxiety, you can consciously choose to respond with calm, curiosity, and compassion. You can also start to choose the content that you consume. Instead of watching news that is designed to trigger fear, you can choose to watch things that inspire and uplift you. You can start choosing who you spend your time with, choosing to surround yourself with people that support your journey of self-discovery, instead of those that try to bring you down. This is about actively choosing where you give your focus, your energy, and your attention. Navigating this control matrix is not a one-time event. It's an ongoing process of consciously choosing your own reality. It is about developing the capacity to make conscious choices and to align those choices with your values and your intentions. This practice of personal sovereignty is the key to liberation, and it allows you to live a life of purpose, meaning, and joy, regardless of external forces, as you will be the master of your own internal kingdom. So, how do we now integrate all of these things into our daily lives? How do we take all of this knowledge and make it a part of your everyday experience? Well, it's through the conscious practice of establishing daily rituals that incorporate the core components of the No BS guide, turning these insights into concrete actions. It's not about drastic overhauls. It's about incorporating small, consistent practices into your daily life that will begin to make a huge difference over time. You can begin by setting aside just a few minutes each day for mindful awareness, perhaps by focusing on your breath or by simply observing the world around you. You could practice gratitude by taking a moment each day to appreciate the good things in your life. You might also take some time to set your intention for the day, consciously choosing how you want to show up in the world. You can begin by incorporating these practices into your existing routines, finding small pockets of time where you can cultivate awareness, action, and alignment. For example, you can practice mindfulness while you are doing simple tasks, such as washing the dishes or brushing your teeth. Instead of letting your mind wander, you can focus on the sensations of these activities, engaging all of your senses. You can also use your daily commute to listen to something that inspires or uplifts you, instead of things that bring you down. You could use your lunch break to do a short meditation or to write in your journal. These small acts can have a powerful cumulative effect. It is also important to always remember that consistency is more important than perfection, and that you should not feel pressured to perform these practices perfectly. Just do them. It is the act of doing that matters, not how you do it. These small, daily rituals serve as constant reminders of your commitment to personal growth, and they are designed to gently guide you towards a more conscious and empowered life, without ever feeling overwhelmed. It's about creating a rhythm of conscious choices, woven into the very fabric of your everyday existence. And it's not just about formal practices, it's also about integrating mindful awareness into your daily actions. This means bringing conscious attention to every task, no matter how mundane. It is not something that you only do in meditation. It is a way of being that can be applied to any situation. For example, when you are eating, instead of just consuming food mindlessly, you can take the time to fully savor every bite. Notice the colors, textures, and flavors of your food. Chew slowly and consciously, and appreciate the nourishment that you are receiving. When you are walking, instead of being lost in thought, you can focus on the sensation of your feet touching the ground. Notice the movement of your body and the world around you. Listen to the sounds, notice the smells, and appreciate the beauty of the world. When you are speaking, you can practice conscious communication by choosing your words carefully, speaking with kindness, and listening with empathy. Instead of just reacting automatically, you can choose your words consciously, paying attention to the effect that they will have. You will notice, as you start to bring this level of awareness to your everyday actions, that your entire experience of life starts to shift. You will start to notice things that you never noticed before, and you will begin to appreciate the beauty and wonder of the everyday. You will also start to develop the ability to remain calm and present, even when you are faced with challenges. This conscious presence will also strengthen your connection to the now, and this is the place where your true power resides. The real power is not in the grand acts, it is in the conscious presence that you bring to every moment of your day. It's in the everyday. But what about aligning your actions with your intentions and your values? How do we make sure that our actions are truly in harmony with what we believe in? Well, this requires a conscious review of your daily activities. You can begin by asking yourself the following questions. Are my actions aligned with my values? Am I spending my time and energy in ways that support my goals? Am I making choices that are truly serving my highest good? Take some time each day to reflect on your actions and identify any areas where you might be out of alignment. If you are working in a job that you hate, spending your time with people who bring you down, or engaging in activities that you don't enjoy, these are all signs that you might not be living in alignment with your intentions. You can start by making small, conscious adjustments, choosing activities that support your goals instead of those that are driven by old programming. This could mean choosing to watch something uplifting instead of mindlessly scrolling on social media, or deciding to spend time with people that support your growth instead of those who drag you down. It could mean making a healthier meal instead of reaching for fast food. It could also mean choosing to volunteer for a good cause instead of engaging in activities that have no purpose. The key is to always choose actions that are aligned with your values and that are driven by conscious intention. Don't get overwhelmed by trying to fix everything all at once. Instead, focus on making small, incremental changes, one step at a time. The point is that you are choosing your actions instead of being directed by them, and this is one of the most empowering skills you can ever develop. And finally, let's talk about the importance of connecting with your intuition. Your intuition is your inner guidance system, and it is always available to you, though often it is muffled by the noise of the outside world. So, how do you start to access this? Well, it starts with creating space in your life for stillness and reflection. Perhaps you could start a journaling practice where you write down your thoughts and feelings and explore the inner guidance that might be coming up. Or perhaps you can spend some time in meditation, quieting your mind so that you can hear the subtle whispers of your intuition. You could even start to spend more time in nature, allowing yourself to connect with the natural world and the wisdom that it holds. The point here is to create space for your inner voice to be heard. As you begin to do this, you will start to notice that your intuition becomes clearer, and you will begin to trust its guidance. Start to ask yourself, what is the most aligned action for me right now? Or what is my intuition guiding me to do? When you start to pay attention, you will start to receive very clear guidance. Journaling is a powerful tool for clarifying this intuitive information, as you are able to track this information over time. The more that you practice this, the more naturally it will become, and you will start to notice the subtle differences between your intuition and your fear, between your intuition and your emotions, and between your intuition and your wishful thinking. Your intuition is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. The more that you trust it, the more that it will guide you, and the easier it will become to make choices that are truly aligned with your highest good, and to feel deeply connected to your inner compass. Now, as you move forward on this journey and integrate these practices, you will find that the need for external validation will slowly begin to fade away. You will find that you start to place less importance on other people's opinions, and more importance on your own internal guidance. And this is a very powerful place to be, as you will no longer be swayed by the opinions of others, because you will be firmly rooted in the truth of who you are. So, let's delve a little deeper into this idea of programming. It's not just a surface-level thing, a simple case of being told what to do. It's actually a multi-layered system of conditioning, and this system has been carefully designed to keep you from discovering your true potential. Think of it like an onion, with each layer representing a different level of influence. At the very core, you have your early childhood experiences. These are the foundational layers of your programming, and these are the experiences where you first begin to learn about the world and about yourself. Your parents, your family, and your early caregivers, they all play a huge role in shaping your beliefs, your values, and your sense of self. They are the people who teach you what is right and wrong, what is acceptable and what is not, often unintentionally. They may have passed on their own fears, limitations, and insecurities to you, and you may not even be aware that these programs are running. Then, as you get older, you are exposed to the next layer of programming, which is the education system. Now, while education can be incredibly valuable, it is also important to acknowledge that the education system is often designed to promote conformity and obedience rather than critical thinking and independent thought. You are taught what to think instead of how to think, and you are rewarded for compliance, not for questioning. Then comes the cultural narratives. These are the stories that society tells itself about what is important, what is valuable, and what is normal. This programming often reinforces ideas about success, about happiness, and about identity, which are often very narrow and limiting, keeping you stuck inside the box. This could be ideas about what success looks like, or about what a normal life is. Then comes the media, which is designed to keep you in a state of fear and distraction, constantly bombarding you with information, most of which is designed to keep you hooked and keep you consuming. And all of these layers of programming are designed to reinforce each other, creating a very powerful and often invisible system of control, and that's why it can be so difficult to break free from these patterns. Think back to your own experience and start to notice how each of these layers has influenced your beliefs, your actions, and your very sense of self. Specific action. Journal on one limiting belief and identify how it came to be and which layers of conditioning it comes from. Now, it's really important to understand that the majority of our beliefs and behaviors are driven by the unconscious mind, and this is another area where they have been able to exert a lot of influence. Your unconscious mind is like a vast storage space, filled with all of your memories, your beliefs, and your habits. It's the part of your mind that operates automatically without your conscious awareness, and it's this part of your mind that is responsible for a lot of your thoughts, your feelings, and your behaviors. Think of the unconscious as the autopilot that drives your life, without you even knowing that it's there, and they have been very clever about programming this autopilot to keep you stuck. This is the realm of habit loops, where actions are triggered automatically, again and again. These are patterns that repeat themselves, and because they are unconscious, it makes it extremely difficult to change. Perhaps you have a habit of checking your phone constantly, or maybe you have a habit of speaking negatively about yourself. These patterns are deeply ingrained, and they are running in the background without your conscious awareness, and they're also very difficult to shift, simply because you don't know they're happening. This is not about blaming yourself for having these programs, it's about recognizing that you have the power to reprogram them. For example, consider the very common pattern of seeking external validation. Many people have been programmed to believe that their worth comes from external sources, such as other people's opinions or material possessions. This program can lead to a constant seeking of approval and a deep sense of emptiness, even when the approval is achieved. Another very common pattern is the tendency to self-sabotage. Perhaps you set a goal, and then just as you are about to reach it, you find yourself doing something that undermines your progress. This pattern often comes from a deep-seated belief that you are not worthy of success, and it is often unconscious. The good news is that when you shine a light on this darkness, you can choose a new program. Specific action. Observe one automatic action or thought for a full day with the intention of bringing it into the conscious mind. And it's not just our beliefs and behaviors that are programmed. Our sense of identity itself is also a construct, and it has been shaped by societal expectations and conditioning. Think about it. Are you really who you think you are? Is your self really as fixed as you believe it to be? They have encouraged people to identify with external labels, such as their job title, their social status, or their possessions, rather than connecting with their authentic nature and with their true power. You might identify as an accountant or a mother, a liberal or a conservative, but these are just roles, and they're not who you truly are. They are just the roles that you play in the game. They are not the player themselves. The game is not the player. This is why people who have achieved success, by all external markers, often feel an underlying sense of emptiness, as they are not actually living as themselves, and are living a role instead. They have chased a set of goals that were not truly theirs, and they have become trapped in the external. The key is that your true identity is not found in your roles, your titles, or your accomplishments. It is found in your connection with your authentic self. This is not a goal to be achieved. This is an ongoing process, a constant journey of self-discovery, and that's where the real gold is found. This requires you to strip away all of the external layers and find the truth that resides within you. Now, this is not easy work, but it is by far the most rewarding work that you can ever do. Specific action. Spend 10 minutes considering, without judgment, who you are beyond your roles, titles, and expectations. Now, remember the inner observer we talked about earlier. Well, this is your key to breaking free from these layers of programming. It's your escape key from the matrix. This is the part of you that is capable of observing your thoughts, your feelings, and your behaviors without judgment or attachment. And it's from this place that you can begin to consciously choose how you want to respond to the world around you. Think of it like this. You are not the character in the story. You are the watcher. You are the audience. And you are the one who is watching the whole performance unfold. You are not the thoughts. You are the one who is witnessing the thoughts. You are not the feelings. You are the one who is witnessing the feelings. You are not the actions. You are the one who is witnessing the actions. This observer is always there. It's always available. And you have the power to choose to step into this role at any time. When you begin to identify with this observer, you will start to see your own life with much more clarity, and you will start to recognize when you are acting from a place of programming, instead of from your authentic self. It's from this perspective that you can step outside the matrix and choose a new experience. The truth is, you have always had this power, and you always will. It is just that you have forgotten who you truly are, and that you have become trapped in the roles that you have played. This observer is the key to your personal sovereignty and to your freedom, and it is always available to you. Specific action. Practice the inner observer in one difficult situation and watch your reactions without judgment. So, now that we've explored the depths of this programming, let's shift our focus to the mechanics of conscious manifestation. How do you take all of this knowledge and use it to create a life that you truly desire? Well, the truth is, manifestation is not some magical power. It is actually a natural law of the universe. And when you understand how it works, you can become a very conscious co-creator of your own reality. The first step in understanding this is understanding the quantum connection. Now, we're not going to get into all the complexities of quantum physics here, but it is important to understand that at a fundamental level, your thoughts, your feelings, and your beliefs have a direct impact on the fabric of reality, and that this is a scientifically proven fact. The observer effect, for example, demonstrates how the act of observing changes the behavior of subatomic particles, and this is one example of how the mind affects reality. This concept also ties into the idea that everything is interconnected, and that there is no real separation between you and the world around you. Your consciousness is not something that is separate from the universe. It is part of the same unified field, and this means that you are constantly interacting with the universe, and that you are influencing it in ways that you might not even be aware of. This is not magic. This is just the way that the universe works, and when you understand these laws, you can begin to use them to your advantage. This scientific perspective is incredibly valuable as it moves manifestation out of the realm of wishful thinking into the domain of practical application. It's not about hopping, it's about knowing. Specific action. Watch a short video about the observer effect to expand the depth of understanding. And it's not enough just to think positively, you have to actually feel the experience as if it has already happened. This is the key to shifting into a different vibrational reality. Your feelings are a very powerful force, and they have a direct impact on the reality that you create. When you are feeling joy, love, and gratitude, you are vibrating at a higher frequency, and you are attracting more of these positive things into your life. When you are feeling fear, anger, or sadness, you are vibrating at a lower frequency, and you are attracting more of these negative things into your life. This is not about ignoring the negative feelings, but about consciously choosing to focus on the positive feelings that you want to create, and to feel them as if they are already here. You must feel it, not just think it. This is why visualization is such a powerful tool for manifestation, as it allows you to use all of your senses to imagine yourself living the life that you truly desire. When you are visualizing, you are not just seeing the image in your mind, you are also feeling the emotions that are associated with the image. You are hearing the sounds, you are smelling the smells, and you are tasting the tastes. You are fully immersing yourself in the experience as if it is already happening, and this is what allows you to shift your vibration. Now, this takes practice, and you may need to practice for a while before it becomes natural, but with consistent effort, you can train your mind to feel the feelings that you want to create, and this is the key to attracting more of what you desire into your life. Let's take a moment to do a short guided visualization. Close your eyes and imagine yourself already living the life that you desire, whatever that looks like. Now, feel the feelings that come up with that, embrace them, and allow them to become a part of you. Specific action. Try the guided visualization and record how it felt and what thoughts came up. And to really make manifestation work, you need absolute clarity about what you actually want, and this is something that most people don't actually have. Are you chasing goals that you think you should, want, or are you chasing goals that you actually want? Are you living a life that is truly aligned with your own values and intentions? Or are you living a life that is based on what you think you should be doing? This is where it becomes essential to set very clear intentions, and that means taking the time to really clarify what it is that you truly desire, and then to focus your energy on bringing it into reality. It's a common mistake to just want something instead of truly intending it. Wanting is often passive and comes from a place of lack. Intending, on the other hand, is active. It comes from a place of confidence and a belief that you are capable of creating what you desire. So, how do you make this shift? Well, start by asking yourself the following questions and be honest with yourself. What do I truly desire without the influence of external expectations? What kind of life do I want to create? What does that look like? How does it feel? What are the values that are most important to me, and how do I want to express those in the world? When you have absolute clarity on these questions, then you will be able to focus all of your energy on bringing them into reality. This clarity is the foundation upon which all of your manifesting power is built, and this process alone will move you from simply wishing for something to actively creating it. Specific action. Write down one clear intention and the feelings and actions you would associate with it. Now, the final key to manifestation is understanding that you are not a passive recipient of reality. You are actually an active co-creator with the universe. This means that you have a responsibility to take inspired action, to actively participate in the manifestation process. This doesn't mean you have to force anything. It means that you need to be open to the opportunities and possibilities that are presenting themselves to you. This means aligning your actions with your intentions and with your values, and trusting that you are being guided in the right direction. It is about understanding that it is not all about you, but it is all through you. The universe is constantly conspiring to support you, and this means that you need to be ready to receive that support and to take action when you are guided to do so. It also means being patient and being trusting of the journey and understanding that sometimes things take longer than you might have initially anticipated. The key is to remain open, to remain receptive, and to always keep taking that next inspired step. Always remember, you are not alone in this process. You are always being guided, and you always have the power to choose your own reality, and this relies on consistent conscious choice. Now is the time to start acting like it. Specific action. Identify one inspired action you can take towards your goal today and take that action. And as you start to step into your power, it is really important to understand that the path of self-discovery is not always a straight line. There will be times when you will feel lost, and you will feel confused, and you will feel like you are taking one step forward and 2 steps back. This is a normal part of the process, and it is really important to embrace the uncertainty and to trust that you are always being guided, even if you can't see the path clearly. This is the unknown, and it's something that they encourage you to fear. They want you to be afraid of uncertainty, because when you are afraid, you are more easily controlled. They don't want you to step outside of your comfort zone, because they want you to remain trapped in your old patterns. But your true growth comes from embracing the unknown, and that's where your power lies. The discomfort that you might feel when you are stepping into the unknown is a sign that you are actually expanding your comfort zone, and this is where true magic happens. When you are willing to step outside the familiar, you are opening yourself up to new possibilities, and that's where your potential really starts to unfold. Remember, this is a journey of discovery, not a destination to be reached, so be present in each step and surrender to the process. Specific action. Identify one thing you have been avoiding due to fear of the unknown and take one step towards it today. Another powerful tool for navigating the unknown is the concept of non-attachment, and this is not about not caring. It is about letting go of your need for specific outcomes. When you cling tightly to a particular result, you close yourself off to the infinite possibilities that are available to you, and you often become riddled with anxiety. You might become so fixated on a specific outcome that you fail to notice the many different paths that may lead you to something even better. When you are non-attached, you remain open to whatever may unfold, and that means you're also far more open to receiving the gifts that the universe is always sending. It is also important to understand that your biggest opportunities will often come from the most unexpected places, and that means that you need to be open to things that you didn't see coming. Remember that the universe has a plan for you. It is always working to support your growth, and sometimes that means taking you in directions that you could never have predicted. The key is to remain aligned with your values, with your intentions, and with your inner guidance, and trust that you are always being guided towards your highest good. Be open to all that life has to offer, and you might find that you receive much more than you could have ever asked for, and that the journey itself is the true reward. Specific action. Let go of one specific expectation about something you have been working towards. Watch what happens. And perhaps the most reliable guide that you will ever have when navigating the unknown is your own intuition, your inner knowing, and this is something that they have actively encouraged you to ignore. They want you to doubt your inner voice because they don't want you to access your own power, and they want you to rely on external guidance and external validation. But the truth is that your intuition is always available to you, and it is always guiding you towards your highest good if you are willing to listen. Now, accessing and trusting your intuition is a skill that you develop over time, and it's a skill that requires practice. You can start by creating more space for quiet contemplation and by asking yourself, what is my intuition telling me to do? and then actually paying attention to whatever comes up. Notice how your body reacts to different ideas. Do you feel a sense of expansion or contraction? Do you feel excited or fearful? Your intuition is communicated through feelings, through sensations, and through a sense of knowing, not through logic. And that's why it is essential to spend time connecting with yourself and with your inner world. The more that you trust your intuition, the stronger that it will become, and the easier it will become to make aligned decisions and to remain guided on your path, even when the path is not always clear. Learn to trust your gut feeling and remember that it is your compass in the storm. And the more you listen, the easier it will be to discern between your intuition and your fear. Specific action. Make one decision today based only on your intuition. Journal how this decision felt before, during, and after. Ultimately, reclaiming your sovereignty is not always easy. It often requires courage, and it often requires you to make choices that go against the norm. It is about recognizing that you have the power to choose, and that you have the responsibility to make those choices consciously and in alignment with your authentic self. It may mean saying no to things that are not serving your highest good, and it may mean taking a stand for what you believe in, even when others disagree. This is not about being rebellious. This is about being true to yourself, and that is a very courageous act, and this is often where the fear will appear. Courage isn't about fearlessness. It is about acting in the presence of fear, and it is about understanding that your fear doesn't define you. You can feel the fear and still make the courageous choice, and that is true power. The truth is that the rewards of living a life that is aligned with your authentic self, and that is driven by your own conscious choices, far outweigh the risks. The choice is always yours, and the time to start is now. Specific action. Identify one courageous choice you can make today that may bring up fear, but is in line with your values and your intentions. Take that step. So, let's now zoom out for a moment and introduce the idea that life is actually a game, and that you are playing a very specific role in this drama. Now, this is not about diminishing the importance of your experience. This is about putting it into a wider perspective. Think of life as a complex simulation, and that you are a character in this simulation. You have been given a certain set of parameters, a certain set of circumstances, and a certain set of challenges, and it is up to you to figure out how to navigate this game with grace, with awareness, and with intention. This is not about escaping the game. It is about understanding it, and then choosing how you want to play it. You can choose to play the game unconsciously, being a victim to your circumstances, allowing external forces to control you, or you can choose to play the game consciously, reclaiming your power and creating the life that you want to create. This is an incredibly empowering perspective, and when you can step outside the game, you can start to recognize that all the challenges, all of the obstacles, and all of the lessons are all part of the design of the game, and that you are the one that is choosing the experience. You have the power to choose the role that you play, and you have the power to rewrite the narrative of your life, and that's the real magic. Specific action. Watch the movie, The Truman Show, with an objective eye and journal on what patterns you can see that relate to your own life. And what is true power in this context? Well, it's not what they want you to believe. It's not about having control over other people. It's not about having a high social status, and it's not about having a lot of money. True power comes from within. It comes from your inner awareness, your emotional regulation, and your aligned action. This is your ability to choose your response to the world and to live in alignment with your own values and intentions. They want you to believe that power is something that you get from external validation, from achievements, and from recognition from others, but this is all just part of the illusion. They want you to look outside yourself for power, because they don't want you to realize that you already possess it, and they certainly don't want you to reclaim it. This inner power is always available to you. It's part of your very nature, and the more that you access it, the more you will start to feel empowered, and the more you will start to create a life that is truly fulfilling. This requires a constant commitment to personal growth and to personal responsibility, but the rewards are more than worth it. Specific action. Notice every time you try to seek validation from external sources today. Journal on this pattern. And finally, it's essential to understand that, while we are all individuals on unique journeys, we are also deeply interconnected, and that separation is simply an illusion. We are all part of the same universal consciousness, and that means that your actions always have an impact on others, and other people's actions always have an impact on you. The way that you choose to live your life always influences the world around you. Now, this is not about taking on the burden of the entire world. It is about being conscious of the choices that you are making and choosing to be a force for positive change. It's about recognizing the intrinsic value of all human beings and about understanding that your well-being is intimately connected to the well-being of others. And this recognition can move you from a place of separation to a place of unity. You can choose to be kind, to be compassionate, and to be supportive of others. And when you do this, you create a ripple effect of positive change that extends far beyond your own immediate experience. It's always about the intention behind the action, and when your actions are motivated by a genuine desire to contribute to the greater good, then you are aligned with your true purpose. Specific action. Do one small act of kindness today with no expectation of reward. Notice how it makes you and the other person feel. And so, we come to the close of this section, and this whole journey is not just about achieving specific outcomes. It's about embarking on the ongoing process of self-realization, of self-discovery, and of self-transformation, and it is a beautiful, lifelong journey. There will always be more to learn and more to uncover, and you must always be willing to evolve, to grow, and to expand your understanding of yourself and of the world. The challenges that you encounter along the way are simply opportunities for growth and for expansion, and you can choose to meet these challenges with awareness, with courage, and with a deep sense of purpose. As long as you remain committed to the No BS guide and to applying these principles to your daily life, then you will continue to grow, and you will continue to evolve into the most powerful version of yourself. The journey is the reward, not the destination. Specific action. Spend 5 minutes reflecting on how much you have already learned in this video and journal on that journey. So, let's now explore the hidden world of energy and how it relates to your ability to shape your own reality. This is where things get really interesting, as we move beyond just the theoretical and start to delve into the very real mechanics of how your intentions can influence the world around you. It's not just about thinking, it's about feeling, it's about intention, and it's about understanding that everything is energy, and that this energy can be directed. You see, the ancient traditions, such as those of the Chinese, with their concept of Kai, or the Indian traditions with their concept of prana, have always understood that there is a subtle energy, a life force that flows through everything. This isn't some esoteric concept. This is a fundamental aspect of reality, and it is the very fabric of your experience. They understand this perfectly well, and that's why they have been working tirelessly to keep you from understanding it for yourself. They know that if you understand the true power of this energy, then you can no longer be controlled, and that's why they want to keep you distracted, fearful, and focused on the external world, instead of focusing on the internal world of power that you hold. They want you to believe that you are powerless, but the truth is that you are a powerful energetic being, capable of directing this energy in ways that will completely change your world. This is the true magic, and it is available to every single human being. Think of a flowing river, constantly moving and changing, and this is like the flow of life force, always available, always in motion, and always influenced by the direction you choose to take. Specific action. Research different cultural perspectives on subtle energies and journal on your findings. Now, your focused intention is the very mechanism through which you can direct this energy. And when you combine it with aligned action, you begin to manifest in a very powerful and very intentional way. When you have a very clear intention, it's like pointing a laser beam. focusing all of your energy on a very specific outcome. And this focus allows you to direct the subtle energies that are constantly flowing through you and through the universe. This is not about wishing. It's about consciously choosing. It's about directing that energy, and it's about becoming a conscious co-creator with the universe, instead of simply being a passive recipient of your experience. Consider how you already use this in your everyday life. Perhaps you have a goal, and you start to focus all of your energy and your attention towards achieving it, and then suddenly, doors start to open, synchronicities start to occur, and you start to see opportunities that you would have never seen before. This is because your focused intention is directing the flow of energy, and it's attracting the resources that you need to make your intention a reality. It's like setting a destination on a map, and then the universe, knowing your intent, starts to rearrange itself to bring you to exactly that place. When you understand this, you can apply it to all areas of your life and become a very deliberate manifester of the future you choose. Start now by noticing that you are already using this principle. You're just not necessarily aware of the power, nor are you always doing it intentionally, and that's where the magic lies. Specific action. Choose one intention you have for today. Take one aligned action towards it, and notice how it feels. And it's also very important to consider the concept of quantum entanglement, which can show you how interconnected you are with the world around you. Quantum entanglement demonstrates how two particles can become linked together, regardless of the distance that separates them, and that when you affect one particle, the other particle is instantly affected as well. This is a real-world example of how the world works beyond our normal sensory perceptions, and it means that your intentions are not just affecting your own reality. They are also affecting the reality of others, and how your actions always have a ripple effect. This can be a challenging idea to fully grasp, as it goes against our normal ideas of linear cause and effect, but it is a very real concept. This interconnectedness also reinforces the idea of personal responsibility and of conscious creation, because it means that your actions always have consequences and that you are constantly affecting the collective consciousness. This understanding requires a deeper consideration of how your choices affect everyone around you and how you become a conscious player in the whole game. It is not just about you, it is about the whole of humanity. And when you begin to understand the concept of entanglement, then you start to realize just how powerful and interconnected you actually are. This is not a concept that they want you to understand, as it means that their control is nothing more than a collective illusion. Specific action. Meditate for 10 minutes with the intention of feeling connected to everyone around you, and notice what feelings or images arise. And so, as we move deeper into this, it's important to understand that they are not only controlling narratives, they are also actively manipulating these subtle energies to keep the masses in a state of disempowerment. This is a very deliberate and sophisticated process, and it involves the manipulation of collective consciousness and the deliberate creation of lower vibrational realities. They know that fear, anxiety, and negative emotions all have a very low vibrational frequency, and that when people are vibrating at this frequency, they are much more easily controlled, and that when fear is ramped up, that's when it becomes easiest to manipulate and to distract. These negative energies are actually quite addictive, in the same way that any addiction is addictive, and once people get hooked on them, then they are constantly seeking out the next negative hit. This creates a constant cycle of dependence, and it keeps people trapped in a reality that they did not choose, and in this constant state of fear and distraction. They also use global crises, as well as very carefully engineered media narratives, to manipulate the collective consciousness, creating a climate of fear and anxiety that allows them to exert even more control. This system is far more complex than you might think, and it goes far beyond what you can see with your own eyes or even understand through pure logic. So now is the time to start to see the patterns and to actively choose to opt out. Specific action. Notice every time you feel manipulated by external forces today. Journal on the thoughts and feelings that arise. Okay, so now let's move into the realm of personal energy management and look at what you can do to reclaim your personal power and step out of this cycle. The very first step is about understanding your own personal energy field and learning to sense how it is affected by all internal and external factors. And that is a very natural ability that you already have. You just need to reawaken it. Your personal energy field is like an invisible bubble that surrounds your body, and it is constantly interacting with the world around you. It is affected by your thoughts, by your emotions, and by your environment, and when you become aware of this, then you can begin to manage it in a very deliberate way. You can start by becoming more aware of your own feelings. When you feel joy, when you feel love, and when you feel gratitude, your energy field expands. When you feel fear, when you feel anger, or when you feel sadness, your energy field contracts. By becoming aware of these subtle shifts, you will be able to more easily identify which thoughts, emotions, and situations serve you, and which don't. You can also notice how other people's energies affect you and start to make very conscious choices about how you interact with them. This might feel strange at first, but with consistent practice and consistent awareness, it will become very easy to discern the shifts in your own energy field. This is not an esoteric concept. This is a very practical ability that everyone possesses. Specific action. Spend a few minutes every day this week sensing your energy. How does it feel? Journal your findings. And once you have become aware of your energy field, the next step is about learning how to clear it of negative energy, so you can operate from a very clear and a very powerful place. Negative energy can accumulate in your energy field from a variety of sources. It can be from your own negative thoughts, from your own negative emotions, or it can be from the negative energies of other people. When you have this negative energy trapped in your field, it will impact your mood, it will impact your behavior, and it will impact your ability to manifest what you actually want. The good news is that you can clear this energy, and there are many methods you can use to do this. One method is visualization, where you imagine a bright white light surrounding your body, and you allow that light to dissolve any negative energy that is present. Another method is smudging, where you burn sage or Palo Santo and allow the smoke to cleanse your energy field. Another method is conscious breathing, where you inhale deeply and then exhale, visualizing the negative energy leaving your body with each exhale. These are all just tools. The real magic is in your intention, and when you are clear about your intention and about releasing that energy, these tools will work very powerfully for you. Try one or try them all and see what resonates most strongly for you. It's not about the specific tool, it is about the intention behind it and the belief that you are capable of transmuting this energy. Specific action. Try the energetic cleansing techniques today and notice how you feel afterwards. And it's also important to learn how to shield your energy field, to protect yourself from the negative energies that are always present in the external world. Now, this is not about building walls. It's not about cutting yourself off from other people. It is about creating a shield of protection that allows you to maintain your own energy without absorbing the negative energies of others. You can use the power of visualization to create this shield, imagining yourself surrounded by a bubble of light, love, or any other image that resonates with you. This is not a passive process. It requires a conscious effort to maintain the intention and to consciously reinforce the shield on a regular basis. You can check on the strength of the shield by taking a moment to notice if you feel depleted after being around certain people or in certain environments. If you feel that your energy has been drained, then that is a sign that your shield has been weakened, and you can then use visualization to reinforce it. This isn't about living in fear of external forces. This is about creating a safe and a protected energetic space for yourself, and it is a very practical way of managing your personal energy. Specific action. Practice creating your energetic shield every morning this week and notice how you feel throughout the day. And the final key is about transmuting negative energy, which is about taking that energy and turning it into something positive. This is more than just clearing your field. This is about actively transforming negative energy into positive energy, and it's about reclaiming your power over your emotional experience. All energy is neutral, and it is only your perspective that gives it a positive or a negative charge. For example, when you feel anger or frustration, you can consciously choose to shift your focus and to look for the learning opportunity or to find a more positive emotion. This takes practice, it takes intention, and it requires you to consciously shift your vibrational state. But the more you do it, the more natural it will become, and the more easily you will be able to transform negative energy into positive energy. Gratitude practices, conscious focus on positive emotions, and intention setting can all help you to become a master of your emotional experience, moving you from a place of victim to a place of conscious creator. Remember that all energy can be transformed when you choose to shift your vibration, and that this is a conscious and powerful choice that you can always make. Specific action. Next time you feel negative emotions, try to transmute them into positive ones. Journal about the experience. Now, as we come to the close of this section, let's remember the true power of choice, reframed not just as choosing between two options, but as a creative force that shapes your entire reality. Every thought, every feeling, and every action is a choice, and you are the one that is always in control. Even when facing a situation you don't like, you can choose how to respond, how to feel, and how to move forward. This level of control is empowering, and the more that you embrace your power of choice, the more sovereignty you will experience in your life. This isn't about avoiding difficulty, it is about mastering it, and about learning how to transform all experiences into opportunities for growth. It's about becoming very deliberate about how you are using your energy and how you are shaping your reality. The power is always in your hands. Specific action. Make 3 conscious choices today that support your highest self and intentions. And now, let's talk about sovereignty, as it comes from self-mastery, not from external forces. When you become the master of your own thoughts, your own emotions, and your own energy, you naturally step into a state of sovereignty. This means that you are no longer controlled by external expectations, by external limitations, or by external forces. You are creating your own reality, based on your own values, and on your own intentions. This isn't about reaching some distant goal, it is about the constant journey of self-discovery, and it is about a commitment to living a life that is aligned with your authentic self. This path requires self-compassion, it requires understanding, and it requires patience, but it will also lead you to a life of purpose, meaning, and fulfillment that you could never have imagined. It's also about embracing the journey and knowing that you are not alone and you are always being guided. Specific action. Spend some time each day this week reflecting on your level of self-mastery and where you would like to focus your intention. And finally, let's bring it all together. The Matrix is not some external force. It is a shared belief system that you can choose to opt out of, and you are not trapped. The key to stepping out is reclaiming your personal power and recognizing that you are the creator of your reality. This shift of perspective is all that is needed to begin to break free from the illusion of control. This is the final reveal and the final key, and that is that the Matrix is nothing more than a shared agreement. It is not a prison, and you can choose at any moment to walk a new path. It is always a conscious choice, and your path is always illuminated when you choose to walk it with awareness and intention. Specific action. Identify one way that you are still participating in the Matrix, and consciously choose a different way to be. Notice how this makes you feel. And so, as we draw this section to a close, you are now invited to step into your infinite potential and to understand that you are capable of creating a life that far exceeds your wildest dreams. This is not about achieving some distant goal. It is about embracing the journey of self-discovery and about understanding your own power and potential. You are not limited by your past, nor by your present. You are always free to choose your future. The time to step into that power is now. The future is yours. Specific action. Imagine your ideal future and spend 5 minutes feeling what it would be like to live in that reality. So, now that you have a deeper understanding of how your energy can be influenced, it's time to delve into how they use subconscious programming to maintain control over the collective consciousness. This is a far more pervasive and insidious system than you might realize, and it operates on levels that are often completely invisible to the conscious mind. You see, it's not enough for them to simply control the information that you receive. They also need to control the very thoughts and beliefs that form the foundation of your reality. And this is where the power of predictive programming comes in. Predictive programming is a very deliberate and very calculated strategy that uses subtle cues, messages, and imagery embedded within mass media and entertainment to pre-program your subconscious mind with very specific beliefs, fears, and expectations. These messages are often subtle, and they're often repeated over and over again until they become deeply ingrained in your subconscious. They work by bypassing your conscious awareness and directly influencing your beliefs and your behaviors. Think of your subconscious mind as a very fertile garden, and the seeds that you plant within that garden will determine what kind of reality you manifest. They know this very well, and they are constantly planting seeds of fear, limitation, and dependence to keep you from understanding your true potential. These can be seen in countless movies, television shows, and even in advertising campaigns, all designed to reinforce a very particular worldview, one that keeps you trapped in their system of control. So take some time this week to choose one popular movie or TV show and start to analyze it with a new perspective. Look beneath the surface and notice the subtle cues, the subliminal messages, and the repeated themes. Journal your findings and see just how pervasive this programming is. Specific action. Choose a popular movie or TV show and analyze it for examples of predictive programming. Journal your findings. But it's not just about the messages that are being presented, it's also about the frequencies that are being used. Frequency manipulation is another very sophisticated tool that they use to influence your emotional states and thought patterns. Certain audio and visual stimuli can affect your brainwaves and create a cascade of hormonal and emotional responses that you might not even be aware of, which in turn affects your behavior. These frequencies can create feelings of anxiety, fear, or apathy, making you more suggestible and more easily controlled. Many of these frequencies are so subtle that they are completely undetectable to your conscious mind, but they have a very profound effect on your subconscious. Think of it like this. Your body and mind are like a musical instrument, and they are using these frequencies to subtly tune that instrument to resonate with their reality instead of your own. So, it's important to become aware of how different frequencies affect you, and to start to consciously choose the frequencies that support your well-being, rather than those that undermine it. So, take some time this week to consciously listen to nature sounds, to frequencies that are known to be beneficial, such as solfeggio frequencies or binaural beats, and notice any shifts in your own emotional state. Observe how these frequencies affect your energy, your mood, and your mental clarity. The key is to start to become aware of the subtle ways that your own energy field is being manipulated and how you can start to take back control. Specific action. Spend some time this week listening to nature sounds or frequencies that are known to be beneficial and note any changes in your emotional state. Now, let's consider the power of imprinting and how they exploit your early childhood experiences, because it's in early childhood that you are most susceptible to subconscious programming. Many of your limiting beliefs and emotional patterns are rooted in those very early experiences. They understand this very well, and they deliberately craft narratives that target this very early stage of programming, because that's where imprinting is most powerful. This imprinting happens when you are very young, and it sets the foundation for many of your deeply held beliefs about yourself, about the world, and about your place in it. And these early experiences are not always positive or supportive. They can be filled with fear, with trauma, and with limiting beliefs that can continue to affect you throughout your entire life. The key thing to understand here is that these early childhood experiences are not your fault, and you don't have to be defined by them. You have the power to recognize these patterns and to consciously choose to rewrite them. Think of it like this. Your childhood experiences are like the foundation of a house, and if that foundation is weak or unstable, then the house is much more likely to crumble. Now it's time to take a moment this week for some self-reflection and try to recall your earliest childhood memories and notice how these memories still affect you, how these experiences shaped your beliefs about yourself and about your world. Journal on the patterns and feelings that come up and know that you are beginning to take back your own personal power. Specific action. Spend some time this week in self-reflection and try to remember your earliest childhood memories. Journal on any feelings or patterns that arise. And so, as we start to understand the depth and complexity of these subconscious programs, the key takeaway is this. They are not immutable. They are not fixed. You have the power to transcend them. This is where your journey of self-mastery truly begins, because when you can recognize these programs, then you can actively choose to rewrite them. The more that you become aware of these programs, the more that you bring them into the light of your conscious awareness, the less power they have over you. This isn't just about positive thinking. This is about consciously choosing your thoughts, your beliefs, and your behaviors, and that is what it means to live with conscious intention. This requires a very active engagement with your own subconscious mind, and a willingness to challenge the narratives that you have been programmed to believe, and that is a commitment you can make at any moment. This week, choose just one negative thought pattern that you have noticed, and take 10 minutes to consciously challenge it, and then choose a more positive and more empowering alternative. The power is in your choice, and every time you consciously choose differently, you are taking another step towards reclaiming your sovereignty. Specific action. Choose one negative thought pattern you have noticed this week. Spend 10 minutes challenging it, and choose a more positive and empowering alternative. Now that you're aware of just how deeply these subconscious programs are ingrained, let's explore some specific tools and techniques for accessing higher states of consciousness, because this is where you'll find the true keys to liberation. The ancient wisdom traditions offer very clear pathways to expanding your awareness and connecting with your true potential. Practices such as meditation, yoga, and shamanism have been used for centuries to help people transcend their limitations and to connect with their higher selves. These traditions are not just based on esoteric beliefs. They are based on very practical techniques that are designed to alter your brainwave states and to shift your consciousness. For example, meditation can slow down your brainwaves, moving you from a state of beta, which is associated with normal waking consciousness, to a state of alpha, theta, or even delta, which are associated with deeper states of relaxation and expanded awareness. These are very real, very tangible effects that can be easily measured with brainwave technology. And it's also important to note that these traditions often emphasize the importance of intention, and that when you combine your focused intention with these practices, you can accelerate your journey of transformation. Now, take some time this week to research just one ancient tradition that focuses on expanded awareness, and then journal on what resonates with you and why. This knowledge is part of your birthright. Specific action. Research one ancient tradition that focuses on expanded awareness and journal on what resonates with you. And now, let's look at some very practical techniques that you can use to access these higher states of awareness. Techniques such as focused meditation, breathwork, and visualization are all easily accessible. They require no special skills or abilities, and they can be practiced by anyone. Focused meditation is about training your attention to remain in the present moment without being distracted by your thoughts or emotions. Breathwork involves consciously controlling your breath to shift your energetic state, and visualization is about creating mental images of your desired future. When you combine these techniques with your focused intention, you can begin to access deeper levels of consciousness and to connect with your inner wisdom. Now, the key here is consistency and daily practice, and being very patient and kind with yourself, because this is a skill that will develop with consistent effort. Now, this week, commit to practicing a 10-minute guided meditation every single day, and then journal about your experiences and notice what insights and feelings come up for you. Specific action. Practice a 10-minute guided meditation every day this week and journal on the results. And it's also crucial to consider the power of sound and vibration, which can be used as very powerful tools for shifting consciousness and for accessing these higher states of awareness. Everything in the universe is made of energy, and it is constantly vibrating at a very specific frequency. When you intentionally use specific frequencies, tones, and mantras, you can shift your own energetic state, and you can clear energetic blockages. And this is a very real and measurable phenomenon. For example, certain frequencies, such as the solfeggio frequencies, are known to have a very profound effect on your brain waves and can induce states of deep relaxation and even expanded awareness. Mantras, which are sacred sounds or words that are repeated over and over again, can help you to focus your mind and to transcend the limitations of your ego. These are not just some woo concepts. They are based on scientific principles, and you can very easily verify their effectiveness with your own experience. Spend some time this week listening to these specific frequencies that are designed for expansion and for relaxation, and then note any changes in your mental and your emotional states. Experiment with different tones and different mantras, and notice which ones resonate most strongly with you, and then integrate these into your daily practice. Specific action. Spend some time this week listening to specific frequencies that are designed for relaxation or expansion, and note any changes in your mental or emotional state. And finally, let's bring it all together. These practices are not just about achieving altered states of consciousness. They're about accessing your own inner wisdom and about connecting with the intuitive guidance that is always available to you. And by doing this, you are building your ability to trust yourself more than any external opinion. When you consistently practice, you will strengthen your connection to your intuition, and you will make decisions that are in alignment with your highest potential, and that is what it means to live a life of purpose and meaning. So, next time you have a gut feeling about something, even if it feels illogical, choose to follow that feeling and see what happens. Trust your intuition. It is the voice of your own higher self, and it is always guiding you. Journal about the experience and learn to trust the inner voice and the inner guidance that is always there to support you. Specific action. Next time you have a gut feeling about something, even if it feels illogical, choose to follow that feeling and see what happens. Journal about the experience. And so, as we move into the final stage of our journey, it's time to explore how you can use all of this knowledge and these tools to consciously create your reality. This isn't about wishful thinking. It's about understanding the mechanics of manifestation and how intention, emotion, and action work together in a very continuous loop. You are already constantly manifesting your reality, even if you aren't aware of it, because every thought, every feeling, and every action creates a ripple effect in the energetic field around you. But now it's time to move from unconscious manifestation to very conscious creation, and you do this by aligning your intentions, your emotions, and your actions. And when all three of these elements are in harmony, you will manifest your desires with much more ease and with much more power. So this week, choose one thing that you want to manifest, intend it with absolute clarity, feel the emotion of already having it, and then take very aligned action towards it, and finally, journal on your experience and see just how powerful you are. Specific action. Choose one thing you want to manifest this week. Intend it, feel it, and take aligned action, then journal on the results. And it's also important to consider how you can start to live in your desired reality now, rather than waiting for future circumstances to change. This is where the power of visualization and feeling the desired outcome, as if it is already here, comes in. This isn't about pretending. It's about actively embodying the state of being that aligns with your desires. And when you start to embody that state of being, you begin to attract the experiences that match that vibration. When you visualize, you are not just creating mental images, you are also creating energetic blueprints that the universe will then start to manifest. And this is very real and very powerful. For just a few minutes each day this week, actively act and behave as if your desired future is already here, and pay attention to how it feels in your body, and then journal on your experience. You will be surprised by just how powerful this practice can be. Specific action. For a few minutes each day this week, act and behave as if your desired future is already here, and see how it feels. And always remember that your power lies in your ability to make conscious choices in every moment, and it's that power that is your true sovereignty. This is also why they want you to believe you are powerless. Now, every time you choose a thought, an emotion, or an action that is in alignment with your highest self, you are creating a reality that is more aligned with your true potential. And every time you choose to act differently, you are taking away their power. So this week, every time that you are about to react to something, pause, consciously choose your response, and see what changes. You are the only one who gets to decide how you respond to your experiences, and in that space of conscious choice, your true freedom is found. Journal about these experiences and see just how powerful you can be. Specific action. This week, every time you are about to react, pause and consciously choose your response. Journal on your experiences. And so, your individual journey of transformation is also an essential part of a larger shift that moves us towards a more conscious and compassionate world, and you have a very important role to play in creating this new reality. It's not just about your own personal growth, but it's about the collective awakening of humanity, and they depend on your consent to keep the old structures in place. So, choose to no longer give them that consent, and know that when you do, you are not only changing your own world, you are changing the world around you. So this week, intend to do just one thing that contributes to a more conscious and compassionate world, and notice the effect that this has on you and on others. Specific action. Intend this week that you will do one thing that contributes to a more conscious and compassionate world. Notice the effect this has on you and others. Now, as we move towards our conclusion, let's remember that your individual transformation is absolutely key to the collective awakening, and that every single act of self-mastery has a ripple effect on the world around you. You are not just changing your own life, you are also contributing to a larger global shift towards consciousness and compassion. And always remember that everything is interconnected, and what you do affects everyone. So, take some time this week to reflect on how your own journey of change has affected those around you, and journal on your findings, and see just how powerful a force you are for change. Specific action. Take a few moments this week to reflect on how your personal journey of change has affected others, and journal your findings. And finally, let's also remember the power of shared intention, which is about bringing people together with a common vision, because this creates an incredibly powerful force for positive change, which is far greater than the sum of its parts. Connecting with like-minded people is key to amplifying your own personal power, and also to the power of creating a collective vision for the future. You are not alone on this path, and there are countless others who want to see the world transformed, and by working together, you become an unstoppable force for good. Now reach out to one like-minded person this week and share your vision for the future, and see how this inspires you and empowers you. Specific action. Reach out to one like-minded person this week and share your vision for the future. See how this feels. And so, as more and more individuals awaken and begin to reclaim their power, the old systems of control will naturally begin to crumble. They rely on your compliance, but the moment that you choose to act differently, you start to undermine the very foundation of their control. You are not powerless, and when everyone chooses something different, then that becomes the new normal. The reveal here is that you have the power to dismantle their control simply by choosing not to participate. So this week, identify just one small way that you can consciously choose to no longer participate in the old structures, and then make that change and start to see the world through new eyes. Specific action. Identify one small way you can consciously choose to no longer participate in the old structures and make that change. And so, as we bring this section to a close, let us embrace this vision of a future where individuals are empowered, connected, and living in alignment with their true potential. And you are all invited to co-create this new reality, knowing that you have all of the knowledge, all of the power, and all of the tools to make it happen. Now take some time this week to visualize this new world that you want to create and your role in it, and know that you have the power to make it a reality. Specific action. Spend some time this week visualizing the new world that you want to create and your role in it. And so, we arrive at the core revelation, the truth that has been patiently waiting for you to discover it. Your so-called Garjavan powers were never something you had to attain. They were always within you, an inherent part of your being, and these perceived limitations, these boundaries that seemed so solid, were never real. They were constructs, created from societal conditioning and a deep misunderstanding of your true nature. The power was never outside of you. It was never something to be sought or acquired, but a natural and ever-present aspect of your own awareness. You have always had the power to choose, the power to create, and it was only your lack of knowledge, your belief in these illusions that kept you from recognizing this inherent power. But now that has changed, and this changes everything. You've now seen that the limitations you believed to be true were nothing more than a shared agreement that you now have the power to walk away from at any time by simply choosing something different. And so, as you reflect on this journey, notice how the patterns of contrasting your inner potential with external limitations have been repeated over and over. We explored how they want you to believe you are powerless, and we explored how you can now reclaim your power. You can now see that these weren't just random pieces of information, but a very practical framework for growth and for change. By consistently choosing awareness, by taking very specific actions, and aligning those actions with your intentions, you now have the ability to break free from any perceived limitations. And these are not random ideas, these are specific patterns. Remember that they only have power because the masses consent to their authority, and you now know that by consciously choosing not to participate, you actively reclaim your own personal power, and you are actively dismantling their control. This understanding, this pattern, is something you can apply to all areas of your life, whenever you wish, and it all begins with your own personal choice. The core understanding you've gained is that you are not a victim of circumstance. You are not a passive bystander in your own life. You are an active co-creator of your own reality, and you now know that everything you need to create the life you truly desire is already within you. The purpose of this entire journey has been to remind you of this truth, not to give you all the answers, because you hold those answers within yourself. This entire process has been a journey of remembering, not learning something new, and in remembering your own power, you will become your own greatest teacher. It is time to step fully into this understanding and begin to act in accordance with your own highest truth, knowing that you are powerful, you are capable, and you are deeply connected to the source of all creation, and that connection can never be broken. And so, let's embrace this final shift in perspective that moves you from a feeling of disempowerment to a very clear state of embodied action and personal responsibility. Because in this state, you will discover the true meaning of power, not in avoiding challenges, but in actively choosing to master them. Your journey is now your own to define. You are no longer bound by the old structures or the old limiting beliefs. They simply no longer have any power over you. You now hold the knowledge, you have the tools, and you have the inherent power to live a truly sovereign life, a life that is guided by your own inner knowing, and that is aligned with your highest potential. And this power isn't something you should fear, but something you should deeply embrace. The shift you are making now is from a passive victim to a very conscious and active creator, so begin to act accordingly. Now, let's place this personal journey within a much broader context, connecting your individual transformation to the larger global shift in consciousness. And as you awaken to your true potential, you are not just changing your own life, you are also actively contributing to the collective awakening. You are part of an interconnected web of beings, and your choices, your actions, and your very presence has a ripple effect that can transform the world, because what you do affects everyone. You are not just on a journey for yourself, you are contributing to a new paradigm of awareness, where compassion, cooperation, and conscious creation are the very foundation of reality. Your work, therefore, is not just for you, but for the benefit of all beings, and by choosing to be the very best version of yourself, you are showing everyone around you the power of choosing something different. And it's also essential to recognize that the awareness-action alignment loop is not just a one-time fix, but is a continuous and repeatable framework for your own personal growth and evolution. And each time you intentionally apply this framework, you will expand further into your potential, and your power will continue to grow. This loop becomes a very conscious and deliberate practice that you can use in all aspects of your life, not just the spiritual elements, but in how you interact with the world every day. By consciously choosing to align your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions, you are actively shaping your reality, and you are intentionally becoming the conscious co-creator of your life, and that is where your power truly lies. So remember this loop, repeat this loop, and trust that this loop is guiding you in every moment. And so, let's explore the broader implications of reclaiming your God-given powers, and realize that this isn't just a personal transformation, it's also a global one. As you step into your sovereignty, you become a changemaker, a leader who inspires others to do the same. And in this way, you are leading the way to a more conscious and compassionate world. This is not just some lofty ideal. It's a very practical and tangible shift, and it begins with your conscious choices in every moment. You are part of a larger collective, and the actions that you take affect everyone in very real and very measurable ways. So embrace this opportunity, rather than feeling overwhelmed by it, because it's time to step into your power and to become the leader that you have always been meant to be, and lead with authenticity and with conviction. Let's also reinforce the understanding that this is not a destination to be reached. It's not about achieving some end goal. It's an ongoing process of learning, growth, and self-discovery. You must embrace the challenges, the setbacks, and the perceived failures, as these are all opportunities to learn and to grow stronger in your own power. The value is not in achieving some distant goal, but in the very conscious choices that you are making every single day, in each and every moment, and by choosing to approach each moment with awareness and with intention, you are actively creating your life. So embrace the journey, trust in the process, and recognize that this process is continually unfolding within you. Now, let's finally address the initial questions that were posed throughout this journey, especially the core question, what if your limits are a lie? And the answer, with absolute certainty, is that they were. The entire journey has now brought you to a full circle of understanding, and you now hold the keys to your own personal freedom, and you have the knowledge that your power has always been within you. The mysteries that once seemed so complex have now been solved, and the answers were all found by looking within and by remembering your own true nature. You are not bound by these old limitations. You are free to choose and to create a new reality aligned with your highest potential. So step into that freedom now, knowing that it has always been your birthright. And let's also see how the No BS Guide is a clear, repeatable pathway for continuous growth and evolution, using the same patterns that we have used throughout this entire journey. The specific techniques that you have learned can be applied every day. They are not just intellectual concepts, but tools that you can use to strengthen your personal power and to consciously create the life that you have always wanted. By consistently revisiting and applying these techniques, you will continue your journey of conscious creation. Your capacity for expansion will increase, and the life you are choosing will become more beautiful and more authentic and more deeply aligned with your own truth. So revisit these techniques and allow them to become your personal power practice. And so, let's address the question of, what do I do now? Begin this week by revisiting the exercises that you have been given and make it a practice to incorporate these techniques into your daily life. Begin to choose your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions, and understand that you are taking full responsibility for your own experience, because that is where your power lies. You do not need to seek external approval or validation because you are the source of your own truth. You are the creator of your own reality, and you are the master of your own life, so choose to live accordingly. The power is not in the framework, it is in your active engagement with that framework. And so, we come to the final step, and it's time to release the tension and the fear that may have been generated from exploring these challenging topics, and know that this journey is not about fighting the system. It's about consciously choosing your own experience, and that choice is available to you at any given moment. You do not need to struggle, you do not need to fight, you simply choose differently, and by consciously choosing your own reality, you are actively dismantling the very foundations of their control. The final message is one of calm, of peace, and of a very clear path forward that is not overwhelming, but instead is deeply empowering. You are free, you are powerful, and you are now aware of just how much you can choose and create. And now, let's explore new territories of questioning so that you continue questioning everything, including the very concepts that we have discussed here, because the path of learning is an endless journey. Always remain curious, always remain open to new possibilities, and always, without exception, trust your own intuition as your ultimate guide, because the answers are not found in any external source, but within the quiet wisdom of your own inner knowing. Learning is a continuous process and should not be limited by the ideas presented in any video, so continue to question, continue to explore, and continue to grow. And always, always trust yourself. And so, let's now paint a vision of a future where humanity lives in absolute harmony with itself, with the planet, and with the universe, where each individual is empowered to co-create a reality that is based on compassion, cooperation, and conscious creation. Imagine a world where the old systems of control have simply faded away, where love and understanding are the very foundation of society, and where each and every person is living in alignment with their highest potential. And know that this vision is not a distant dream, but a very real possibility, and you have an important role to play in bringing this world into being by your very presence here and your intention to be part of the solution. And so, you are now invited to share your experiences, your insights, and your very unique perspective with others, to become part of a larger community, and to actively start to create your own path of self-discovery, and to empower others to do the same. By connecting with like-minded people, you are strengthening your own personal power, and you are also contributing to the creation of a collective vision and a new and beautiful future for all of humanity. You are not alone on this path. There are countless others who want to see a better world, and together, you are an unstoppable force for positive change. So reach out, connect, and share your own power with the world. And finally, let's explore the path forward, knowing that you now have a very clear and strong foundation to continue your journey of learning and development, and that the No BS Guide is designed to support you every step of the way. Continue to trust your own intuition and use the techniques that you have been given, and know that you are empowered, you are capable, and you are always being guided. Your journey is now your own, so continue to explore, continue to question, and continue to expand, always trusting in the power that you hold within, the power that has always been there, and the power that will continue to grow as you walk forward with authenticity and with conviction.